misconceptions about music and performing do you think people have outside of your field?
Well, misconceptions. Well, musicians are regular people. I think that folks think that musicians are like walking around with sage burning in their home all the time, or they got these weird ways of getting things done. Some do, but by and large, musicians are just like doctors and lawyers, and they just exist in a mental space that's a little different. I know my wife has quite a bit of problems with me. Oh, you only understand music. So I'm like, oh, so sorry. And she's a musician too, but she really lets me know, oh, you're always just thinking about music. But we're regular folks. We're regular people. It's tough because we're always in that space in some ways. It makes us vulnerable to a lot that maybe people outside don't, they're not privy to. Like, you know, musicians are pretty sensitive.
How did you get involved with music and performing? What attracted you to it?
Well, what got me involved in music overall is, well, I started very young. I saw my brother playing, my older brother, and he was kind of like my hero. So I wanted to do what he did, and he was a violinist, and so I did that as well. What got me into music, I was always singing and dancing around the house. I was always tapping beats. I was always doing something that was musically oriented. Definitely singing a lot. My mom sung. She is a singer. And so we would sing. She would sing to me when I was a kid, and there was just a lot of music happening in the house. So I just continued and made it my thing at a very, very young age.
Okay, well, what soft skills or qualities are essential for success in your role?
Well, interpersonal skills. Firstly, music is very communal. You have to be able to be with people and accept who they are as they are without any alteration. So you have to accept them. A wonderful soft skill to utilize your word is the ability to take in others' opinions, validate those opinions while not necessarily having it alter your opinion of what it is, but to inform your opinion of what you do. So that's a pretty tough skill. It requires a lot of empathy. And I think in the musical space, I'm I'm empathetic. In other spaces, I could use a bit more empathy. But usually I'm fairly empathetic. And in order to be empathetic, you just have to remember how you feel about things. If you can remember how you feel about something, how it made you feel, then perhaps you can understand how others might be able to feel about that. And so being able to be a musician keeps you in tune with all of these things simultaneously. So,
What's the biggest challenge you face in your field?
well, I'm a jazz violinist, so there not a not there's no shortage of challenges. Firstly, I write music, I create music, I present music. I'd like for that music to be presented as such, and I think that quite often there's a good deal of pigeonholing in the music that I play. I'm a jazz violinist. I play jazz. The type of jazz that I play is a fusion sort of jazz. It isn't a a straight ahead sort of jazz, meaning that it fuses different influences in its presentation. So you might come to my concert and see all sorts of influences, popular, classical, but it's all through the lens of jazz music. And when you play the violin, first is the strongest image culturally of what the violin does, and that's classical music. So I have jazz musicians telling me that I'm a classical musician. which is cool. To be honest with you, I don't really worry so much about what they think I am. That's a hurdle, having to break through others' idea of what you are before they actually get an opportunity to experience what you do. So that's a challenge. That's one challenge. Second challenge is being an African American doing this thing. The reality is there are no shortage of generalizations concerning people of my ethnicity and ethnic background. I mean, there's all sorts of just things that have nothing to do with the actual people themselves. And people are very willing, no matter what the people are very willing to, before they know who you are and where you come from, but to ascribe what they have already preconceived onto you.
Mhm.
And that's a challenge, to come in and who's this guy? What is he doing? Is he gonna do this? He's gonna do that. They already got their menu ready. And I have to say I've done pretty well with kind of dashing their ideas of what they believe I might be, and then finding out who I am. And I'm a pretty, I don't want to say straightforward kind of person. So my music speaks in that particular way, and so it's easy for them to go, "Oh, that's what he does," instead of going, "Oh, that sounds like this," or "This is," but he's not doing that, and I wish it was this. All of that stuff kind of goes away because I'm pretty in your face and bold about how I feel about this stuff.
What are the less obvious aspects of the job that people should be aware of?
Oh my gosh, being a musician, overall, most of it, as in show business of any sort, movies or you're talking dance, most of what happens, and I know many of you guys maybe have seen this, there's a poster where you see the iceberg, which is on the top, and then the bottom of the under the iceberg is huge. Yeah, most of it is not obvious, like booking concerts, spending a lot of time composing and refining pieces. Like on Saturday when I play at OBF, I'm going to be performing a piece of music that I first premiered actually at the Blaine Harbor Music Festival, but it's called Purple Sun, but I ended up really changing it. I changed the introduction, I put a little bit of a interlude in it. I put an outro. I put a whole completely different solo section simply because I learned so much from presenting at Blaine Harbor Music Festival. And so it was helpful for me to be able to see that performance and see what it did to the musicians and what it did to the people and kind of move that around. So what people don't see is the creative process. There are ways to get people in on the creative process, but it's so hard to track, Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll sing into my iPhone or whatever device I have handy for recording a melody, and I'll go right back to bed. Or I'll be in the car and I'll hear like something that inspires me and I'll just like, record it. And then it's the process of writing it down, going into the pencil and paper and it scribed. People don't see that. And to actually prepare your show with the understanding that they don't know any of those things, at times it's musicians can come to the bandstand with baggage and not think about the people for which they're presenting. And I like to do that often. Every time I compose a piece, I think about what I'm contributing to the people who are listening.
What are the pros and cons of this career path?
Well, certainly the pros are that you get an opportunity to really affect change in people's lives in a way that until you've been doing it long enough, you can't really recognize. you get to really affect people directly. People are thinking, oh, well, I've been having a bad day. When they hear music, usually there's a shift in their mood, there's a feeling of change within their just body composition. It could motivate them, it could get them determined, it could make them feel reflective. It's quite magical. So the positives is that being a musician, you can really wield quite a lot of power and influence over other people. The cons are that you might not necessarily be monetarily rewarded for all of the work that you do because it is a 24 hours a day job to be a musician, to think about this stuff all the time, to be in those spaces mentally. Um, and everyone is always trying to rip you off, which is another thing. Yeah, the club owner, you've got three pieces, you've agreed on three pieces to your band or four pieces to your band, and suddenly they're missing like enough money to pay that third person or that fourth person, and they've got a story to tell you about how hard their lives are, and you're like, literally, if we don't get paid, we don't eat.
Right.
So, and I get it. That is for everybody. But when you're asking, please bring the crowd, meaning you're saving your budget on promotion, make sure that there's 50 people or more in this place or 100 people or more in this place. Now, suddenly I don't have your money that I collected at the door. It becomes a little fishy. And so there are a lot of fishy people in this business. So that's a downside. But the upside, I believe, outweighs it if you have a balanced approach to pursuing your goals in music.
Wonderful. Thank you. That concludes our Ask the Expert segment.